Welcome to our Q&A live about the Georgia legislative session. What is it? What am I here for? What happens? How do we have laws? Why do we have laws? I'm here to answer as many questions as I can and just run through the basic idea of Georgia and lawmaking and legislative session. My name is Aviva, for anyone who doesn't know me. And yeah, this is my music channel. We also have a hemp channel, which is linked in the description below. And also you can find it at usahemprevival.com. So be sure to subscribe to that channel. And the only reason why I'm not live on that channel is because I need 1,000 subscribers to go live. So please subscribe to that channel so that my music channel does not get shadow banned for talking about what we're talking about today. All right, so we have some folks who are joining us live today that are going to basically, what I asked them to do is help to ask the questions about what you might be asking so that I can cover all possibilities, right, of questions that you might have. So if anyone wants to introduce yourself, then please do so right now. I'm just going to check some messages in the inbox. All right. Hi, Teresa. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? All righty. So we're going to dive right in here, and I'm going to have Joseph introduce himself real quick.
Hey, Joseph Lodeholt, owner of the CBD Source in Dublin, Georgia. Hope everyone's having a good day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and donate if you can. Let's keep this going because we need all the help we can get right now.
Sweet. Thank you, Joseph. I see David's in the house. How are you doing? All right. So I want to cover a few things. First of all, a lot of people don't know that there's a limit in the session length. So basically, our session is 40 legislative days. And the legislative days are not consecutive. There's a calendar that is set up at the beginning of session with the legislative days and generally what they are. Now, at any time, it can change for emergencies and whatnot. So playing this game is all about being on the sidelines and watching the moves and jumping in when you can. Kind of like basketball, right? If they pass the ball to you, you do your best to get it in. So, the Georgia legislation always kicks off with the Wild Hog Supper, which is basically a fundraiser for different aspects of Georgia's needs. And then we swear in our new legislators pretty much the following day. The first day of session this year was January 13th, I believe. And last day is going to be, I think, April 4th, but we're going to review that in a minute. And then there's something called Crossover Day, which I believe is March 6th. I'm going to double check that in a minute also. Now, on Crossover Day, any bill that has been proposed has to go to the other chamber. So right now we're looking at some Senate bills, and the Senate bill has to pass in the chamber, which means the whole Senate, in order to go over to the House and then passed by the whole House. And then if it passes, then it gets sent to Hemp. And if Hemp signs it, it becomes Georgia law. So that's any questions about that basic process? All right, well, let's dive right in and share the most important resource, which is our legislative website. So I'm going to go ahead and share that screen with you. Okay. All right. Can everyone still hear me? Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
Sometimes when I make myself small, my voice disappears. So you can see right here, I have it pulled up on one of the bills. Now, does everyone see this clear enough, or do I need to make it bigger? Okay, I think we all see it. So here we are. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here we are on one of the bills that we're going to be looking at today. But first, we're going to go back to all legislation. So when you get on this website, you can search for any keywords of legislation. You can also go here to the House of Representatives, and then you have lots of options, right? You can just see all of the representatives. You can see the Speaker of the House. You can see the House committees, which is very important. We'll get to that in a minute. And you can see the House calendars, okay? So that's where we find the general legislative calendar, and the next day is day 10, which is February 3rd, which is tomorrow. So tomorrow is the 10th day, so we're already a quarter of the way through. Then we can look at House votes, and we see their votes on different things. I don't see the bill number, but they've already done some votes. We can also go to the daily reports. All right, that's going to take too long. But then you can see, okay, there we go. Then you go to the Senate, and you can do the same thing. All the senators, right? There's our friend right there at the top. And you can look at the lieutenant governor. And, oh, okay, that brought me to a different screen, so you don't see that one. And back to the Senate, you can look at the Senate committees and find all the committees, right? So now we go to the committees, and there's a committee tab, so that's a shortcut where you can just go to all the House committees and all the Senate committees. And then you can, again, see the schedule for the committees. And you can either choose to see all of them, just the House, or just the Senate. And that's taking a second to load. And while that loads up, I am going to get a quick word from our sponsor. Hold on one second. Scribbles, are you here? Oh my God! Everyone! Thank you so much for coming to this live stream. I just want to say that I'm sponsoring this video with my album. Scribbles! So go and download your favorite song today. Thank you, Scribbles. That is so nice of you to sponsor, because I have not been able to get any other sponsors for this video. So that was very nice of you to step up. And we have loaded this, so let's give it a look. So there we go. We see our calendar. We see our calendar. There is a floor session, 10 a.m. tomorrow, so something's going to be voted on, right? And then there's all these committee meetings that you can see, and subcommittees. Rules Committee, Subcommittee, Public Safety, and this is all everyone, Senate and House. I personally find it easier to look at one at a time. So like, for example, the House and the Senate. So if you know that there's a bill being read in the House or voted on in the House, you can check that out. All right. Any questions or comments so far from people who are more experienced than me? Or not? All righty. So let's go ahead and search for certain kinds of legislation. Does anyone have a request as far as what kind of legislation we look at today?
How I discovered Bill 33 was I just typed in hemp.
That is exactly a good idea. So we can look up hemp, marijuana, cannabis. But not everyone watching this is interested in cannabis. You might be interested in education. You might be interested in Dominion voting machines. You might be interested in HOA laws. So, but we're gonna since this is the USA Hemp Revival sponsored video, we're gonna start with the cannabis. And by the way, we do have a goal today. I'm trying to finish up this video in about half an hour or so, but if you all want me to hang out for a whole hour, I just need 10 super chats. And a super chat, if you just hit that money button, then you can chat anywhere from 50 cents to $5 million, So go for that. So here we go. We're going to search legislation. We're going to go back to the legislation. And you know what? Before we do that, actually, let's go ahead and do that. We'll take a break in a minute. We're going to search hemp. Okay, actually, before we do that, I just wanted to explain that every session is actually a 2-year session. So when a bill is introduced, it has a 2-year lifespan. And so we just finished one 2-year lifespan and we just started another one. So any of the bills from the last session are dead. They have to start over again on this one if they didn't pass. So even if something doesn't pass crossover day, they still might deliberate over it because it has another year to cross over and pass. So let's go to our search. We're searching hemp and this is the only thing that pops up. This is our only hemp bill. Now when it pops up, we can see the current version, we can see all the sponsors, and we can see what happened to it down here. So on January 28th, SB 33 was read and referred. Okay, where was it referred? Right up here, we can see it was assigned to the regulated industries and utilities. That's not surprising since a lot of the sponsors are in that committee. So, as someone who I believe is, I believe this bill is very bad for the hemp industry. So one of the first things you can do, besides contacting your own legislator and writing to them, is to write to every one of the sponsors and say how disappointed you are in this bill, or just simply keep it dry and say this bill goes against this, concept, this law, this person, it's not good, whatever. But what you also can do is you can click on her sponsor and find out a little bit about her. We're all human. How can you relate to her? Maybe you have the same birthday. What committees is she in? Children and Families, she's the chairman. Health and Human Services, she's the vice chairman or woman. Insurance and Labor, secretary. Appropriations, government oversight, and veterans. Okay? So since she's veterans, we might want some veterans to contact her and say, hey, help us out with cannabis. What are you doing? We might, the Health and Human Services, she, as vice chairman, needs a lot of education about how healthy cannabis is, right? What she has been very vocal about, and I have some videos about this on our USA Hemp Revival channel, is the safety of children. She's very concerned, supposedly, about the safety of children. That's what she's vocal about. All right, so we can also find her office number right here and where she is. So you can press contact Senator Kay Kirkpatrick and her email address will pop up and you can just copy and paste. What you can also do is click on her staff, which I actually recommend. And pretty much almost every single email is the name, like hannah.holcomb@senate.georgia.gov. So you can just try that, or you can call the office and ask for what email to do. Of course, some of them check personal emails more, So you can possibly get their personal email address, you can possibly get their personal number. But if you really have something important to say, what you're going to have to do is call their number every day, several times a day. If you know you're going to be at the Capitol and you really want to meet with them, you can say what day you want to meet with them. You can schedule an appointment. What's really, works even better is if you have an organization and you say, I want to meet with you on behalf of this organization. I only got to meet with the vice chair of ag several years ago because he thought Aviva was an insurance company. That's okay. We work with what we got. And you can also just drop by their office and say, hey, I tried to contact you. Are you around? And their assistant might say, hey, they're at the chamber. Now, what you can do if they're at the chamber is you can call them to the rope. And what that means is one of the interns, which is like a little messenger, who's usually sometimes even 12 or 13 years old, that want experience learning about how laws are made. And they have little notes and they go to the legislator and they find them and they say, hey, your constituent is at the rope. She would like to talk to you. And sometimes you get to talk to them. And they usually have little pieces of paper that you fill out to request their conversation. And you just kind of meet them at the ropes for 5 minutes. It kind of reminds me of visiting someone in jail, to be honest. But any whoosies. So any questions about that so far? What do you think about all this, Joseph?
Learning something a little more easier to now navigate that website.
Cool. I'm glad you're learning something. I feel like we're reaching our goals. Is there anything that you didn't know that kind of surprised you? Or?
No, I mean, just learning more of what the Senate committees are doing, and how to get in there. I mean, last week I went ahead and contacted all of those guys and everything. Well, girls and guys. Hopefully somebody reach back.
Yeah, I hope so. And if not, I honestly, in my experience, I rarely ever get a call back unless they specifically want something from me, like something that they don't know that they need education about.
Yeah.
They might be connected to an industry and they have something they want to sell. I rarely get a call back. It's all about just constantly calling them. So, try not to, I know it's an emotional thing to get rejected and ignored, but in this game, that doesn't help the situation. It's I think it's healthier to just look at it like a basketball game, where if the basketball is passed to you, you can do a shot. But if no one passes the basketball to you, it might be because you just haven't been in the game long enough, and you're just not on the floor and people don't know who you are. And that's okay. You just got to keep showing up and working out, because when you do get that opportunity, you definitely want to get a 3-pointer or 2-pointer or whatever. Let me just answer this real quick. All right. Any other questions? All right, quick commercial break. Here we go. Hold on. Quick commercial break. Go to the bathroom or listen to the commercial. Here we go.
Gasoline, pretty and cosmic and smart. Gasoline, giving nature a new start. Gasoline, opening up all our hearts. Gasoline, gentle and kind, not so harsh. Gasoline, I sing this song. Gasoline, I sing this song. Gonna fly on my trampoline. Gasoline, the whole world can afford. Gasoline can no longer be ignored. Gasoline cleans the air as it's made. Gasoline means water clean so we can wait. Every crop helps us stop pollution. Heating our homes and where we shop, absorbing the CO2, gasoline. Oh, hell, how I love you. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Pour it in. For the win. Gasoline. It's kinda mean. Gasoline. 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 We all have that gasoline. 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 You just ask for gasoline. 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 We all got that gasoline. So clean.
All right, thank you, Scribbles. That was awesome. All right, back to our legislation boring stuff over here. All right, we were just looking at Kay. Yeah, we see that. We see what she's up to. She's the sponsor of SB 33. Okay. So now we go back to these other sponsors. Pick a sponsor, any sponsor. Who you want to see? Who do you want to know about? Hello, Christopher. What, Joseph?
I was gonna say you can always look at Moneybag Sam Watson.
Oh, is that his nickname? Okay, let's go see what he's up to. So let's look at his sponsored legislation. Let's just look. He's got conservative use property, grants, young farmer teacher program. That's good. Now, these are not ones that are passed. Okay. Oh, this is just 2025. So if we would like to see past bills, we just go right here and we go to 23-24 regular session right there. Okay. And it gives us this warning. This is not the current session. We know. And then we can see what he did in last 2 years, which is the last session.
Ooh.
And look what we got here, the SB 494. This is an issue, right, for a lot of people. Now, it's interesting that 494 was read in both the Senate and the House. I will say that might be a good thing then that it's being read in regulated industries, because regulated industries was actually tougher on the hemp bills last year. If you remember, it did not pass out of the regulated industries committees. As you can see, it passed out of ag, which might not be good, right? So the thing that happened last year that was really hard to understand was that even though SB 495 passed out of the Senate committee in ag and the House committee in ag, it was not the 494 that passed on the floor at 12:30 a.m. on the last day of session. It was amended by other bills that did not pass out of the Regulated Industries Committee. So let's go ahead and look at that one more time. So we're over here, and let's see the other sponsors, okay? Are these the same sponsors as 33? Okay? And you can see the House sponsor is John Corbett as well, because you can't carry it over to the other chamber unless you have a sponsor from that chamber. Okie dokie schmokey. And you can, of course, read the bill. So back to Sam, going to 2526. We saw his sponsored legislation. Where's his office? If you want to drop by, 302A Club. Now, has anyone on the chat actually been to the Capitol this session? Because I haven't been down there yet. And, you know, there was a rumor that the buildings were going to be changing and all kinds of stuff. Did they? I don't think they did. I actually have a video in Twitter, which I'll show you, where someone actually went down there and took a video of what the Capitol looks like. And, yeah, I'll show you that in a moment. All right. No one's been down there? Okay, so generally there's two main buildings, the Capitol and CLOB, which is Coverdale. So the Capitol is the big one with the gold dome, right? Well, right across the street, what direction is it? It's not like it's right across the street where the church is, but it's almost like it's next to it instead of across the street, right? Is the Coverdell building. So that's a little bit of a smaller building, a little bit of less security, and it's not where the chamber is. The chamber is in the big Capitol. So we're reading, okay, so here we are, we're reading where he is. He is in Klopp, so he's in that smaller building, 302A. So he's on the 3rd floor, and let me tell you, that is kind of a rat maze to navigate if you've been down there. His staff is Jenna Purpura, and sometimes they have their emails listed right here. His district address, you can actually do a snail mail, which might not be a bad idea. I'm horrible at writing letters, so I've never actually written a snail mail letter to any legislator. So I have brought this. So, has anyone written to our lovely sponsor about SB 33 yet? Anyone hear from him? Okay, let's go ahead and jump ahead to looking at. Well, let's look at one more sponsor. Who should we look at? What other sponsor should we look at to the bill?
Another one that was on the previous bill that I see is Randy Robertson, and then you've already seen Kay. There's quite a few new ones on this one compared to 494.
There sure are. There sure are. And some of the most anti-cannabis people are on this bill, which tells you a lot. And maybe I can go into another video with that. I do really need a sponsor. I do have a lot of footage of their hearing with Sheikh Rahman on talking about bringing cannabis freedom to Georgia. And their testimonies were insane. So I just need a sponsor to finish that video because I just can't afford to spend that much time on things unless I have a little bit of fundraising. So yeah, thank you for sharing that link, Joseph. If you go to the pinned post, if anyone wants to donate, and it's also in the description below, you can find the link via usahemprevival.com, or you can go to this comment, which should be pinned. And let's see if we can celebrate. Let's see if anyone made a donation today. Nope. We've got $65 raised for over a year now. I'm a horrible fundraiser, apparently. But it means a lot. And, I know a lot of you are donating in other ways, and I appreciate it so much. Every barter, everything helps. But yeah, I'm really excited to share that footage. Let's go see what he is up to. Mr. Robertson is very anti-cannabis. His spouse's name is Teresa. We've got another Teresa in the house. What committees is he in? Public safety, government oversight, appropriations, ethics. Let's see who's in the ethics. Sam Watson is the chairman of ethics. Rick Williams is the vice chairman. So hopefully these people have a lot of ethics, right?
Yeah.
We can only hope. So what does the ethics committee do? Does anyone know? Let's go to about. The Committee of Ethics has general jurisdiction over ethical issues relating to the Senate, governmental entities, and public officials, as well as election and voting issues. The committee is authorized by statute to independently investigate allegations of ethics violations made by the general public. So if we, the general public, OCGA 45-10-90, want, think that something is violating ethics, then we can submit it to the chairman, who is Sam Watson.
Man, there's no hope.
What do you mean? I just gave a solution. That's something that we can.
He's going to investigate himself?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so now let's go back to Randy. Randy is in the ethics committee. And he's also in the reapportionment and redistricting. Oh, let's redistrict stuff. Okay, state and local government, rules, insurance and labor. Okay, so what is he sponsored? What is he into? He is into Kia Day. Is that something we agree on? I mean, it'd be great if we can find common ground, even if we don't agree. We're all human, right? Oh, okay, Kia's. Okay, it's a car. We want to celebrate the Kia car. Okay, sure. Let's celebrate. Let's rejoice. Rejoicing is important. All right, so now we are going to go back to SB 33. SB 33. We see that it has been assigned to the regulated industries and utilities.
The ones that the rolling trees, they're 15.
What does that mean?
What's that?
That means that we need to keep an eye on when the Regulated Industries Senate Committee is meeting, because at any time they might decide to have a hearing on SB 33. Probably sooner than later, because they really want to push it through, right? So let's go ahead and look at the calendar and see when they are meeting. Regulated Industries, Senate calendar. Senate, general calendar. Local calendar? Hey, what's going on here? Senate schedule. That's what we want, not the calendar. All right, that is loading up. All right. We are loading up that calendar. While that is loading up, I will show you a video of if you just write Georgia session in Twitter, then a lot of videos will come up. Okay, so we'll talk about this. So here we go. We've got February 3rd. We've got a rules committee meeting. We've got all kinds of things going on February 3rd. What are we looking for? We're looking for regulated industries. There it is, February 4th. Regulated industries at 4 o'clock. Now there's no agenda, so we don't know what's happening yet. But we can click on it and look, there's a place to watch the live stream when it happens too. So when we click on it, then we see where it is, 4:50 in the Capitol, and we see the live stream. We don't see an agenda yet. But if it had an agenda, we would see the agenda. Another way to get the agenda, let's first finish and see if it's meeting any other day this week. We go down here to the second page, and we see Ag is meeting. And there it is, 3 o'clock on Thursday also. So on one of those days, they might be reading SB 33. How do we know if they are? Well, you can sign up with the chairman's administrative assistant to be on the notification email list. So how do we do that? We go to the committee, which we can actually find by just going back to the bill. We can just click on the committee. And now we go to Bill Cowsert, the chairman. And there's his staff, Paige McKenna. Okay? So we want to contact her, which I actually need to do. I guess I contacted his old staff, his other administrative assistant. But if you go to the committee, there's this, okay, there are administrative assistants. See what I did? Of the committee as well. So Cindy West, the address is right here. You can write to her right now. cyndi.west@senate.georgia.gov, and Mary Atkins, and say, can you please add me to the committee email list. And just to be safe, I would also message Paige because they might check and balance each other. Then hopefully they'll send you a notification, but you can't depend on it. Things get lost in the mail. You might get bumped off the email list for whatever reason, but you probably will be notified. I rarely have to re-add myself to lists, but I haven't gotten anything from regulated industries yet, and meeting's Tuesday, so they just might not have an agenda. But I have gotten agendas from ag meetings this year already because I'm still on their list. So, you know, if someone really wants you to speak, they'll also contact you if they know that you're coming to support their legislation. If you're not coming to support it, they might not want you there. So that is the story about SB 33. Let's go see if there's anything related to cannabis. I wonder why. Okay, let's just go to all legislation. Let's just see if there's anything else besides hemp. Nope, that's it. Okay, let's look at cannabis. Wow, that's the only thing. Okay, let's look at marijuana. Okay, we've got a couple of things to look at with marijuana. Look, there's 3 different things. Now, does anyone in the chat want to start researching this and how they feel about these acts? Now, some of them might not really be about marijuana. It just might be mentioned in there. So, if anyone wants to look that up, that would be great while I am going to show you a video. So, welcome everyone who's just hopping on right now. Thank you for being here. I went through a lot of stuff already. I guess it's been 40 minutes already. I'm going to tell you one of the other things I like to do to kind of understand the Georgia session. And I go on to Twitter and I just type in Georgia session, and there's a lot of videos about what is going on. So I am going to share you a couple of those right now.
The legislative session gaveled in on Monday as lawmakers took their preliminary, ceremonial, and technical duties. Representative John Burns was reelected as Speaker of the House, and Representative Jan Jones was reelected as the House Speaker pro tempore. Senator John Kennedy was reelected President pro tempore of the Senate. Chambers also set the entire calendar for the year. The 40th and final legislative day, also known as sine die, is scheduled for April 4th. Crossover Day, when bills must pass out of their original chamber to survive, will be on March 6th. Also this week, Governor Brian Kemp delivered his State of the State speech, in which he made a strong push for tort reform, even hinting at a special session if necessary. The governor also threw his support behind legislation to lower the income tax rate from 5.39% to 5.19%. Governor Kemp, along with Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones and Speaker Burns, announced their education priorities, which include fully funding K-12 formula earnings, providing funding for additional school safety grants, enhancing mental health support and crisis counseling, and boosting technical education and transportation funding. Speaker Burns announced his priorities for the year in a pre-session press conference where he highlighted revisiting tax cuts, advancing child literacy initiatives, and ensuring the protection of gender-specific sports participation. Lieutenant Governor Jones named chairman for the session, many of whom remained the same from last year. However, the Senate will have 5 new chairs. The House, meanwhile, added 2 new committees, the Rural Development Committee, headed by Representative Lisa Hagan, and the Special Committee on Resource Management, chaired by Representative Brad Thomas. Senator Chuck Hufstetler expects to draft legislation to make the floating homestead exemption created by last session's House Bill 581 mandatory, eliminating the option to opt out. The exemption was overwhelmingly adopted by voters last fall, but many, if not most, local governments are planning to opt out during the next 3 months. New legislation has been introduced to exclude tips from taxation. That's in Senate Bill 2, which was drafted by Senator Greg Dolezal. Next week, lawmakers will be adjourned for budget hearings, and the next day of the session, Legislative Day 6, will be Monday, January 27th. For more legislative updates and commentary, please consider subscribing to our weekly Friday Facts newsletter.
right. So that was kind of interesting. That was, you like that guy. It's just the Georgia Public Policy Foundation. And you can find that on Twitter. Georgia Policy. Here, I'll put it in the. Let's see. Georgia Public Policy. I'm going to follow them. I haven't followed them yet. Let me show you this. Let me just show you the screen again. See? Georgia Public Policy Foundation. There it is. Okay. So now I'm going to share someone else on Twitter that is a really great resource that I suggest following. I will say Twitter is probably where most of the legislators are active for some reason. You know, some of them are on Facebook, but I find that most of them are on Twitter. So you can find your legislator and follow them and comment, blah, blah, blah. Hemp is on Twitter a lot. A lot of his stuff gets shared on Twitter. So this guy is so on it. His name is... Yeah, Rahul Bali. He is so on it. Like, he's always, and this is the tag. You can look at the hashtag GA Paul to find a lot of stuff that's going on. Here he is, like, he knows the calendar. Crossover Thursday. So you click on this post and you see the calendar of days. You see when the day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it looks like, you know, the first couple of weeks were pretty full with legislative days. And then you can see that a lot of Fridays are not sessions. On the 30th, it's a committee work day, so that might be a day that is easier for your legislator. Do you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you can see that it's smart. You can just go to this link. I mean, I'm pretty sure he got this from the legislative website, but I don't know. Sometimes the legislative website, it just overwhelms me, so I prefer to see it in other places. So you can see there's committee work days and legislative days. And it looks like, you know, the legislative days are pretty solid, 4 days a week, it looks like, for the good amount of the session, ending on Friday, April 4th. Well, it's good. They can sleep in on Saturday after the crazy sunny die, as they call it. That's the calendar. Thank you, Rahul. Any questions about that? What do you think about all this so far?
It's definitely educating, because I can guarantee there's a lot of people in Georgia that don't have a clue.
I know. And I seriously, I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's set up like that, because I just remember when I was first approached about going down there, I had no idea it was just 40 days. I thought it was like all year long.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is every state is different. Some states are all year long. I think it's rare and few and far between. But the way Georgia does it is they don't pay that much. These legislators don't make that much money, so they have to have other jobs throughout the year. And so that's why they just use these, they voted to do this. I do think they could vote to change it in the future if they want to.
Yeah, I mean, I the only contribution I can give towards why a lot of Georgians don't know how it is because we probably put so much faith in our elected officials that they won't jeopardize their integrity or do anything unethical. You know, you don't think about it after you vote. You don't think no more about it until it's at your doorstep knocking on your door.
Yeah. I think it's kind of stressful. Like a lot of activists are honed into when legislative sessions are, and they host legislative days at the Capitol to teach activists about what's going on and what bills they should support and whatnot. It's very organized. I'm so grassroots in Georgia hemp that I'm just like, all those official things like seem to be like, I'd rather just teach people how to do it themselves, because as individuals, I think we have more power than people realize. Because in individuals, we can develop relationships. I think Joseph froze for a minute.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Played the freeze game. So let's see what else I've got over here. Thank you, Rahul. We've got the Georgia Policy Foundation that we followed. So here, okay, this is Tim Eccles. I'm going to share his cute video. He's a very creative person. I don't agree with a lot of what he is pushing in the Public Service Commission. And even as a Public Service Commissioner, I think there are systematic issues. But I will give him credit for being very creative and has been extremely giving to the community in many ways. But we disagree on some of the energy crises. But he did have me on his podcast talking about cannabis as an energy source. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that he can help to bring that into a reality. So I am going to share his cute video that he made giving everyone a tour of the Capitol.
Hey, everybody knows about the legislature in Georgia. It kicks off for 40 days. Always cold up here. They have a session during the winter because that's when the farmers didn't have crops. Many years ago, you have to have an ID to get into the building. You're going to come to this basement entrance. It's the only door that you can come in. They're going to put everything to a magnometer. After the doors, the next thing you need to know is, where am I going? I'm in the basement of the Capitol, 4 stories. Most of the activities happening on the 3rd floor. That's where the chambers are. We're going to head up there in just a second. I always have to stop in room 122 because it's this room that I got the idea to create Team Pack, the organization I started in 1993. It's in all 50 states now. And of course, you've got to come to the Rotunda. This is just a glorious place at the Capitol. And all these beautiful paintings. James Oglethorpe, founder of Georgia, February 12, 1733. There are thousands of people that will be here when the legislature convenes. Make sure you're in good shape here. You're going to walk upstairs. There's so many stairs here. I do recommend coming on a Thursday because if you do, you can go in the governor's office, room 203, and he does photos. I'm on the 3rd floor of the Capitol, and this is where all the action happens. Right behind me, the Georgia Senate, and on this side, the Georgia House of Representatives. And then finally, the 4th floor of the Capitol. This is where the gallery is, where you can go and sit and watch the Senate or watch the House. Finally, the gallery doors. You can see down into the House chamber and the Senate chamber, and you can sit anywhere in those seats.
All right. That was a cool video, huh? So what he did, there's like, is anyone a fan of Being John Malkovich, the movie? You know that movie? Where there's like a 13 and a half floor where his portal is. Anyway, that's what the mezzanine reminds me of. Like there's like 4 floors, but then there's also like a half floor where ag meets. And it's always so hot in that room, and it's like a half floor. It's like squished. You have to be like really small to enjoy it. But anyway, that was that. Is there anything else I wanted to share today? Something that is going on. Something you probably heard about what happened with Colton Moore, our legislator. So I can share a video on that if you want, or if anyone has. Did anyone have time to research those marijuana bills that I just pulled up? I don't think it's really like, it's nothing like cannabis legality or anything, is it? Okay, while we're researching that, I am going to do another commercial break. And shout out to Marty out there with Realm. He just the CBD shop down in Midtown. They're watching live over there. So Even though Simon in this video is playing the bass, Marty is actually the bass player. So we are going to play that song while we look up the bills real quick. And I know we did not get 10 super chats, but I will go for an hour anyway, because it is a labor of love, my friends. So please like and share this video, comment. Please get the word out. Education is power.
Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? You got a nice life. You got a nice wife. You're working hard for your money. You got to save to survive, but that gas prices never cease to rise. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? But can you run a car on cannabis? Henry Ford, he invented the design. How nice it would be to not smell like gasoline every time I take my car for a ride. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? And my mother, she would agree. Use cannabis for paper and not a tree. Use cannabis for clothing instead of cotton. It even grows wild without the pesticides that give us cancer. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Ufona, akuya kule cannabis. Ufona, akuya kule cannabis. Ufona, akuya kule cannabis. Some people say that oil pollutes and drilling into the ground is killing our roots. All the farmers in Iraq could be taken off, but instead they're drilling for oil. It's the government's rule, but we could easily be a hero just to make hemp production legal. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Ufuna, kuya kule cannabis. Ufuna, kuya kule cannabis. George Washington knew it. George Washington even grew it. Do, 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 do.
Okay. So yeah, that gave us time to look over the bills. Thank you for enjoying that song. Yay, Flying Penguins. If you guys get a chance, it would mean so much to me to like some of my music videos, because since I put this on my music channel, I am totally going to be shadow banned this week. That always happens. So if algorithmically, if you just peruse my channel and like a couple, comment a couple, it should hopefully flip the algorithms back up. So yeah, Yolanda is so good at explaining the bills. So follow her on Facebook for sure. Do you have a link, Joseph, you can put in the comments to see her stuff?
You know, I don't know how to do it. I'll try my best.
Well, if you send it, chat me it on, and I'll send it, and I'll cut and paste, copy and paste. Send me a message, email, or whatever. But yeah, I was looking over it, and it does look like to me that HB 41 and HB 206 might be good bills to get behind. HB 41 looks like it actually is in a committee as well. So we're going to look at that and see when the committee is meeting and sign up for their email list so we can support it if we want to support it.
Yeah. From quickly glancing at it, I believe it looks like it's allowing the local jurisdictions county-wise to put an ordinance on 1 ounce or less. So maybe that'll encourage more decriminalizations in some counties and cities.
Well, I mean, you know, that's definitely probably the sponsors of that bill are probably definitely key people for to meet up with Grassroots and Georgia Hemp.
Yeah. And one big thing, it looks like they're actually setting a max on the fine of $1,000. So that, I mean,
that's crazy. Clarkson's down to 75. Oh man, that's just pissed me off, but it is what it is. So I liked the 206 talked about not prohibiting people to get like loans if they have a felon for drug use. So yeah, we support that. Freedom, you know. Someone shouldn't be penalized, you know, scholarly just because they smoked weed. That's ridiculous. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm quickly on.
I'm going to share that so everyone can read it. At least the summary you can read. This has not been read in the chamber, so it has not been assigned to a committee. But we'll look at the other one in a minute.
Okay, I sent you one link for 206. Okay.
So you can't just put it in the chat here?
How do I do I have to go to YouTube to do that?
What you're commenting, like wherever you're commenting, you can just put it there. However you made the comments you just made. Like this one. Hey there.
So I was on my phone. I don't know how to do it off the computer. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Can you email me from your phone?
Yes.
Okay, cool, because I can't copy it from. Sweet. We'll do that. Who is still here? Give us a holla. Who's in the house? Show yourselves. Thanks for keeping me company, Joseph.
Oh, no problem. Okay, I was able to successfully send the emails. Sent them to Flying Penguins.
Got it.
Cool.
Okay, so you can go here to see the stuff. Now,
So she,
I don't know if you can click on it, but you should be able to at least copy and paste it to your Facebook. Okay, so let's look at, like we read that. Okay, so now David Clark, definitely at one point he tried to completely legalize cannabis as well. So yeah, these are all Eric Bell. He almost came to the annual event. These are all very much pro cannabis people. So we want to help them help us. Now let's look at HB 41. We see it's in the House Committee Judiciary Non-Civil. Chairman is Tyler Paul Smith. So we want to email Ronnie Pouliot and get on that email list. And we could just also email Tyler. And we could also look at the about to, okay, there we go, the committee assistant. Yep, it's Ronnie Pouliot. We've got an attorney on the staff as well. Now we are going to the House of Representatives. We're going to go to their schedule and see when the non-judiciary, did I say non-judiciary? Is that the committee it's in? I think so. All right, let's just, okay, in the House. I don't see them meeting Monday. I don't see them meeting Tuesday. Okay, maybe it was Judiciary Non-Civil. They're having a Wednesday meeting at 8 o'clock.
it was non-civil. I'm sorry.
So yeah, so Wednesday, 8 o'clock might be a day to go support the bill. Good to know, right?
Yeah.
And just so you know, Wednesday seems to be the day that the ag meets as well. So if we go to the Senate, we see that on Wednesday.
Now, where is the ag meeting at?
Let's see, let's go to the Senate and see if they are, because they, sometimes they meet the same time every week, sometimes they don't. Oh, there we are. They're at 2 o'clock this time in the Senate, and that's 307 Club. So they are meeting Wednesday. We don't know the agenda yet. And let's see, the House Ag is not meeting this week. It doesn't look like. So I think that was a lot to cover. I think we did a great job. Give me 5, Joseph.
There you go.
Oh, we've got Charles in the house. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Now we got 5 more minutes. So yeah, anyone have any questions before we wrap this up? Rejoice, because this is made. Let us exalt and rejoice in it. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us exalt and rejoice in it. Shout out to Canna Shame. Thank you for all you do for the awareness of cannabis. Alrighty. Any questions? Any comments? Any requests?
Oh.
I have a request. Subscribe to USA Hemp Revival on YouTube. Please share. Please comment. I'm telling you, it helps. It helps to have an army of energy behind these concepts because guess what? The trees have ears and they want to help us. You know, everything in nature is our cousin, our sister, our brother. We're all connected. So the more we express ourselves and put our vibrations out in the universe by commenting, sharing, liking, then we are voting in a universal way. We're voting vibrationally. And that's more powerful and effective than you realize. Do you agree?
I'm sorry, my internet's acting funny again.
It's vibrationally misaligned.
Yeah.
I was just saying that everyone has the power to share their energy and it's more powerful than they think. Every like, every subscribe, every comment that of them expressing their own natural vibrations is creating a wave of inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. I think that I've shared everything about the session that I know. The nitty gritty of what happened with 494, if I can try to explain in a nutshell, is that the only reason why they were allowed to amend what did not pass out of regulated industries is because it was in another form in the year before, because it was a 2-year session. And then the form that it was in that bill did pass out of committee, even though it didn't pass on the floor. So it's still really confusing, but supposedly it's legal.
Everyone that's not in the committee or the House or the Senate doesn't understand how it's legal. And hell, some of them don't even understand how it's legal either. They just agree.
Huh. Really?
It's wild.
Well, I mean, the part of the integrity that I don't really understand is that the calendars are assigned by another committee. Like whatever comes to the floor and is voted on is decided by the Rules Committee.
Yeah.
So in the morning, it's decided on like what bills are going to be voted on, and you can present amending bills in those meetings, which is what happened. Did you know that?
No.
Okay, well, since we got some new people, I will find that video and share it because it's a really quick video from the Hemp Revival channel. I'll also link it. Hold on one second. We have 333 subscribers. Woohoo! I mean, how funny is that? That it's SB33. I have 333 subscribers on USA Hemp Revival. You can just look at the subscribers to remember the bill number. Man. Okay, where are we? Videos. Is this it? All right, here we go.
Next, Senate Bill 494 by substitute, LC 550331S. Lee Restoration.
Mr. Chairman, Senate Bill 494, you may recall, is one of the hemp bills we've also had under consideration passed out of committee, Senate Bill 437, House Bill 458. This is a collection of those bills as well as input from the Department of Agriculture, which includes standards for testing and regulation for consumable hemp products. This substitute does not include the licensing of the production of cannabis oil, so that is not part of this, what was otherwise in the conference committee report to House Bill 196. Would ask for the committee's favorable consideration.
Okay, you've heard the explanation. What's the pleasure of the committee? Have a move and seconds. Is there any opposition? It passes. Okay. Now we're going to set a second supplemental calendar for today. Under modified structure, Senate Bill 157, substitute LC 365900S. Have a move and a second. Is there any opposition? It's on. Senate Bill 189 by substitute, LC 4731.
I mean, look at them. They didn't even question it. They're like, yeah, we're just going to amend this bill. Like, we're just going to add 458. We're not even going to read over it. It's just, there we go. They don't have time to read over it.
No.
So that's what happened is they added these other bills last minute that didn't pass the floor, but that did pass out of committees.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything else that they say.
110S. Have a move in seconds. Any opposition? There is an objection. All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed, like. It's on. Senate Bill 494 by substitute, LC 550331S.
Move.
Have a move in seconds. Is there any opposition? It's on. Next is Senate Bill 495.
All right.
Have a move in seconds. Is there any opposition? It's on.
I don't know why I kept going there, but all right. So that's what happened. Now you know. That's how it changed the last minute. Last day of session.
Yeah. It was almost like it was planned.
Well, I'd just like to say a prayer that this plant is honored and respected. We could end with the sacred agreement. Let's see if we could find that. Just play that while we dance around, put those vibrations. I believe in the power of music to change the world. Why not, right? You can say your own word, DJ.
Yeah.
To honor and respect.
So tune into this agreement if you agree. We'll close it out.
For food, free to be planted, harvested and processed by all. I break any past contract known or unbeknownst to me that has taken away my freedoms and security. By the not limited to being punished, shamed, lied to, neglected, shut, blocked, or manipulated in regards to my personal relationship with and awareness of the cannabis plant. I am committed to spreading education about the many uses of cannabis, from Fueled paper, rope, fiber, medicine, technology, and ceremony. I believe we all stand and work together to reveal the truth about cannabis and help each other heal. The great deception lies, punishment and withholding of information that has affected the quality of our health and prosperity, relationships, communication, and camaraderie. My healthy, prosperous life deserves honor and devotion, and I honor my life. And it is my choice to use cannabis if it can contribute to and sustain this. I release any and all shame and fear if it's connected to this belief. Oh, oh. I agree to honor my beliefs and acknowledge new agreements for the support and protection of our basic human rights. In regard to protecting and caring for ourselves, others, earth, and earth's resources, I further agree to and believe that it is my right and any human's right to grow cannabis in a personal garden, family, and or industrial farm. All suppression in the form of laws or otherwise that is out of agreement with this new contract is in violation of our beliefs, and it is my responsibility to make sure there's relief, and this is heard far and wide until total liberation is achieved. This is my sacred agreement and commitment, and I see that it is good.
All right. Scotty's in the house. Welcome, welcome. I think I'm pretty much done. Anyone else have anything they want to say? Any questions? Any comments? Anything? Questions? Do you all know who your legislators are? I didn't go over how to find out your legislator. You can go onto the website. Let's see. I don't have the link here. All right, so I am going to. Oh, he's been here lurking. Okay, I'm going to share this screen here. I just shared the link, but I'm going to also show you what it looks like. Boom. Find your legislator. You can submit your address right here. Anyone want to, you don't have to give me your address, but you want to, so that's cute. There's the House picture and there's the Senate picture. So I'll put an old address. It was 303. All right, District 44, Planned Parent, and that's how easy it was. See, bam. All right, thanks for sticking around the whole time. Later, Gators.
Bye.